Hello Gemini, this is Inspire 2016 with your monthly reading for the month of April 2018, focusing on your career and work life. So I hope that you have a good month so far for the month of March. So let's see what is in store for you for next month, the month of April. So the first card for you representing the present position or towards the beginning of the month, you have the Five of Spades. So this card indicates that towards the beginning of the month you may have some kind of arguments or disagreement with conflicts, can be with your with your peers or with your supervisor, or can be also with your coworker. So this argument can be something that is prominent or something that you have seen it like like sorry, like a pattern that you already see in the past. It's always coming out again, like it's not the first time. That's something that you may want to avoid if you can, because something that is not really productive, so it's a counterproductive. So that's something that won't lead you anywhere, so that is something that you want to avoid for the long run. So the next card that you have representing the bridge card or the influence card, you have the Seven of Spades. So if this is conflicts with regards to like money, or with regards to your schedule, for instance, which leads to the hours that you have, for instance, and that leads to money. So this type of things can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be impossible. So you always have to work it out. So if you cannot win with this argument with your manager or with your supervisor, in this case, try to escalate the problems with your like HR or with other members that may have higher power than your supervisor here, or with your manager. So that can be also represent gossips. So be careful not to spread this kind of problem that you have with everyone around you, because not all of them has the best interest at all. So you may want to avoid taking these problems and spreading out into the opens, because sometimes people are not your they are not in your sides, and in this case some of them might be try to use these informations to stab you behind your back. So try to be clever and not to spread out all of your problems to people around you. The next card that you have representing the past positions of your readings, here you have the Four of Diamonds. So this Four of Diamonds, in the past you may have to juggle with your finances, try to minimize the expenses that you have, try to save more on what you have, and that's something that you have been doing lately. Possibly if you have been thinking to buy a property, or to save money for your retirement funds, or for your possibly if you want to travel and you want to save some money for that, and that's something that you have been doing in the past. Other than that, it can also be a financial difficulty for some of you. I don't see all of you. If you have been unemployed for moments, that can be the case, because you want to save more and try to finding a new opportunity, and that can be difficult as well sometimes, and that's something that you want to stick to your budgets and try to work it out afterwards. So the next one that you have representing the things that you learned from the past, you have the Queen of Spades. So this Queen of Spades, in the past, it can also be representing you or another air sign here, because it's a queen, can be female here, that are in their mid-20s or in the mid-30s, between those age range. If you are in that range, it can be you. So you learn a lot from this queen in the past, that you learn how to manage your arguments, how to deal with people around you, and that's something that you have gone quite hard, but it's not really impossible as well. But you know exactly that she teaches you how to be how to deal with these people in the past. That may be somebody that you have an argument with, if it is referring to this 5 of spades. So the next one that you have representing the things that you need to let go from the past, you have the 6 of spades. So yeah, this obviously, because you may have to leave the situations, don't deal with these arguments, because this argument can be something that is not productive. Again, it may not lead you to anywhere. So I see this argument has been going on for the past, can be 6 weeks or 6 months in the past, and that you may want to stop doing that. So you already have problems here in the past, possibly if you don't like your coworker, and you always have problems dealing with the coworker that you have. And you know, sometimes when you holding back and you keep on holding back and try to avoid these problems, and this problem will be building up, and until the last moment when it explodes, and the impact is much more devastating. So try to share these to your HR or to your like if you have a problem with manager, then you have to go to HR. If you have a problem with your coworker, then share it to your manager and say that you want to avoid this, but how do you deal with these problems? So the next side that you have presenting the future card, or toward the end of the month, you have the 7 of Hearts. So this 7 of Hearts indicates that in the end of the month, by the end of the month, you will get some kind of an apologies from some people here in this thread. It does looks like that this apologies is based on the fact that you get from the people around you. It can be also you as a person who will apologize with somebody. So it looks like that your problems here, your arguments or your dispute or whatever the case may be, has finally come to an end, because either you or the other persons have come to realizations that they are wrong, possibly, or you realize that you are wrong. So it can be either way here. But however, if this is not the case, 7 of Hearts here can also indicate that if you are unemployed, then possibly you will get some kind of offer, but the offer itself is not really materialized, or it's not really materializing in the short term. So you may have to wait for a while to make this opportunity become into real. For instance, like if you have been promised to work in a certain organizations, so possibly the hiring manager will say, oh, the position will open by May, not April, so you will be starting on May, not April. So that can be the case here. So the next card that you have, or the last card actually, representing the clarifying card at the bottom of the deck, you have the 5 of Diamonds. So this 5 of Diamonds indicates overall here, so the month of April can be quite a challenging month for you for managing your finances. So try not to be overspending, try not to be indulgent on the things that you want. So because sometimes when you get like stressed out or depressed, then you may have like impulsive buyers, you know, like something that has when you're buying things that has been triggered only based on your emotions, and that can be something that is quite difficult to manage. So that's something that you want to avoid overall, because somehow in the end you may ended up buying things that you don't even use and you don't even like it. And that's something that lead up, if you, especially if you have a very tight budgets, then in the end you may end up having nothing, because you should have got more, but because you spend it to something that you don't like, don't even use it, don't even need it, and then in the end you will end up with a bunch of things, but you don't get something that you really need, like necessary things like food or things like that. So I hope that this reading is helpful, and if you like the reading, just click like, and if you haven't subscribed already, just click subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell below as well, so that you get the notification every time we publish a new video. So I wish you have a good month, and see you next month. Thank you.